So it is time to argue, my friends. I hope you have your arguing pants on or trousers if you are in the United Kingdom. But according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter and Dave Meltzer, when we get to SummerSlam, we've got one hell of a potential main event. Maybe it could be part of a two-show main event. But it is indeed, you saw the damn thumbnail, you saw the damn title, Solo Sikoa taking on Cody Rhodes. Now instantly the internet has melted down within 5 minutes of just a rumor coming at me like,
oh, this is not, this cannot be the main event of SummerSlam.
Now there are two things I feel like we're forgetting here. One is more important than the other. We'll get to that one in just a second. But listen, even if you don't like Solo Sikoa and you don't think he has the right momentum or you don't think he has the star power to be on the tippity top of WWE, do you know what I'm so bored of wrestling promotions doing? Picking somebody, and then as soon as it did go a bit wayward, just going like, oh, let's just give up then. Now I'm not talking about Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns should have been flipped heel, of course, when the fans revolted. That's not what I'm talking about. In terms of being cast, Solo Sikoa has been cast the right way. He's the new tribal chief. He's the mob boss. He's in charge of Bloodline 2.0. It's not like people are saying, oh man, he'd be so much better as a face. So it's a totally different thing. But if we have decided that he is the anointed one, and by the end of 2024, I guess we're going to try and do the opposite of what we did Jey Uso. He's the big baby face on Raw, and now we want Solo to be the big heel on SmackDown. You have to let this play out. I know it's such an annoying term because wrestling people use it all the time. But I suppose you could drag Jey Uso into this a little bit again, because the tribal combat match at SummerSlam last year was a big eye-opener for some people to say, oh no, he shouldn't be in the main event despite that being his name. Again, that's a different conversation for a different day. But I think Solo has to be given his opportunity. Like, I really, really do. And there are times in life, in general, just not in wrestling, where you need a catalyst, or you need to be in a situation, or you need to have a little bit of pressure on your shoulders before all of a sudden you do go, oh my gosh, I found the magic thing I was looking for. I remember an interview with Triple H who said, I'm paraphrasing here, it was something on the lines of, no world champion in WWE, obviously, because that's where he's been the last 30, 40 years, but no world champion is ever ready to be world champion the first time they get given the belt, because you have to learn so much during that experience that actually losing it and then getting it back for the second time is when all of a sudden you do become a champion. And I think it's going to be the same for Solo. I think you need to put him in a position with Cody Rhodes. And listen, everyone has wanted a elongated feud for Cody post WrestleMania. With the AJ stuff, very good. The Logan Paul stuff, kind of neither here nor there. And while Solo may not have been the guy that you were hoping for, which again is perfectly valid, more power to you. There's the comments, come and yell at me, give me that engagement. If this is what WWE is trying to do, the best way to get it across to the audience is to put him in a main event of SummerSlam, because as I keep telling you, it's hot WrestleMania. That's what the WWE wants it to become. Now, if we come out the other side and you still feel a bit drab about it, then it didn't work. And then we have to get together in a hustle and decide what opinions we're going to throw out there on the internet. But I do think there is a part B to all of this, or number two, which we're going to segue into now. I do not think this story is going to be about Solo Sikoa versus Cody Rhodes. I think the big finale of this whole thing is getting to hot WrestleMania, and you're going to have Cody versus Solo, and in the ultimate irony, or the ultimate twist, or the ultimate drama, do you know who's going to come back at the end of that match to probably one of the loudest pops we've heard in some time? It's going to be Doink the Clown. Let me doink the clown. It's going to be Roman Reigns. That's the only reason I could fathom why you would want to do that match. Again, I'm happy to see how it goes week to week, but to sort of get the rumors out there, and again, it is just speculation at the moment, like 2 months before we get to SummerSlam. I mean, you've got June, July, like 2 months before, and a Money in the Bank pay-per-view in between, which is in Toronto, where you're going to need some good matches too, is very risky. However, if you put your breadcrumbs in place, and you have a story, you have an idea, you know which path you want to walk down, and you've decided SummerSlam is when Roman Reigns does have to come back, which again does make sense. It's one of the biggest PLEs that WWE does. Then yeah, maybe we're actually going to have a mad second half of the year, which I haven't predicted. Like, everyone's been going, oh, it's going to be OG Bloodline and New Bloodline. They're going to be taking on the Usos, are going to get back together. And who knows who else can possibly team with Roman Reigns? Maybe it's flubbing Cody Rhodes. Maybe we get to Survivor Series and we have, I'm going to get this wrong now, we're going to have Tama Tonga, we're going to have Tangaloa, we're going to have Solo Sikoa, we're probably going to have a Jacob for 2, or maybe a Hikuleo. There's loads of rumors out there. That'll be 5 people too. I always thought it was going to be 4. Maybe it's going to be 5. On the other side, the Usos get back together. Roman Reigns is there. You could rope in Sami Zayn. It would be pretty cool. It'd be a very, very nice story. And maybe the 5th guy is flipping Cody Rhodes. And that would be absolutely crazy. And you're going to have to put a lot of work in to explain why Cody would stand by Roman Reigns. But you know, Cody has always been very respectful towards Roman. But I just love this idea of Solo Sikoa probably going to win at SummerSlam, hot WrestleMania. And the reason he doesn't is because Roman Reigns does the Solo Sikoa run in. Maybe he's even got a hood up. I don't know. I'm paraphrasing here, not the right word, but I'm going way down the fantasy booking. I don't know how he's going to do it, but I would only assume the reason they are being put together is because, like I said, the second half of the year is going to be very heavily focused on Roman, who makes his big return there. SummerSlam goes off air. Everybody wants to watch Raw. Everybody wants to watch SmackDown. Everybody's happy in their tootsie toes. And if we do that, I think sometimes the destination can actually be more important than the journey, especially in wrestling, because you get a big adrenaline dump. You're like, oh, it's the best thing that I've ever seen. Like, what do you remember about War Games last year? Maybe Randy Orton's re-debut or return, that was awesome, but mostly you remember CM Punk. In terms of what happened in that match, not many people talk about it, because again, it got usurped, which could happen here. And once more, if it's Cody looking at Roman and Roman looking at Cody, don't pretend that we're all not going to be nerds and geeks. We're going to be nerds and geeks. And then yes, when that power does go away, that's when we go, this doesn't make any sense and I hate it, and we go back to our day-to-day. It's just the cycle of life. That's what the Lion King was talking about. But you'd be surprised to hear that. I'm just happy to see what we're going to do. I would have preferred Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton 100%. Maybe that's what we're going to do at WrestleMania, which also is probably not true, because the we that Solo keeps dropping is definitely The Rock. Do I think he's going to be at SummerSlam? Probably not, but you never say never. But if WWE does have all these plans and they expect everyone to be around for a long time, then you can save the Randy Orton match. I mean, we certainly teased it during the Solo Sikoa beatdown at whatever the last event was, Clash at the Castle, because Randy Orton definitely looked at that title, but maybe they just don't think we're ready to turn him now. Maybe instead of Sami Zayn, it's Randy Orton on Team Bloodline. Maybe that's how it all goes bad. I don't know. But if they do think they have enough material, I'm two worlds, to be honest with you, because one day I'm going to be dead, and sometimes I just give it to me now. Give it to me now. I'm impatient. But on the other hand, WWE has been very good at eking these things out. So I'm happy to wait and see, especially because the other rumored match, depending on CM Punk's health and if he can get cleared, is going to be Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. Man, I tell you this, even though Cody versus Solo for the WWE Super Whooper title would main event that thing, if you want to put Punk and Drew there, I wouldn't mind, because their story sells itself, which actually brings in the World Heavyweight title. We know it's going to be Gunther versus Damian Priest, unless there's a curveball coming. What the flub happens there? I don't know, but it's all very, very cool, and it's all very, very exciting. But if they are your three matches that you're going to kind of build SummerSlam around, and we know we're going to get Bayley versus Nia Jax too, which personally I'm excited about, but hands up, it doesn't have the same gravitas as the ones we just talked about. Unless WWE can do a really good job with it, which I do hope they can do. I think it puts SummerSlam in a position where it could take the step forward that WWE are desperate for it to do. Again, put it in a stadium. They want it to be 2 nights in 2026. I'm sure they want it to be 2 nights every single year. They want sites fees. They want to make a bunch of money. And the way you do that is by treating it as a big deal. And even though going in, like I say, you may think, oh, Cody Solo doesn't have that vibe to it. Oh, but now Roman's been added into the mix, and I'm feeling good about it in my loins, in my bones, and in my groin. But, it does put a big question mark. Maybe we do. Maybe it's AJ Styles versus Cody Rhodes at Money in the Bank. Can you imagine how mad people be? You do have to do a Cody Rhodes match at Money in the Bank. Some people say that you don't, because the Money in the Bank should sell itself. Cody got to do something. And maybe you do the first solo match there, and maybe there's some kind of shenanigans. Maybe you give Solo Sikoa the belt. I wouldn't do that. I don't think that's a good idea at all. I think you should get to SummerSlam. He's about to win. That's when Roman Reigns gets involved. But that is a good way to make it feel like less time. Like if they don't touch from now until August, it's going to feel like a novel. But if we are going to get something in a few weeks, then we put some things in place. And actually what you could probably do is introduce new members into the bloodline. That's a double-edged sword too, though, because if you're introducing new members, why wouldn't they get the title for Solo? Maybe he's going to become the WWE champion. And I would agree, that's way too soon. I have a totally different opinion on that. But again, if you do have Jacob Fatu and Hikuleo coming in, maybe that's the way that we get there. And maybe that somehow, I don't know what Jimmy Uso's health is like at the moment. Maybe Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso arrived to help Cody Rhodes' side, and they look at each other. I hate you, but you hate me, but we're brothers, so we should get back together and have some tea. And that rhymes, so that's always good. So there are a lot of crazy things that we can do. But I just saw the reaction to this, and I had to make a video today anyway. I was like, well, man, we're going to talk about that. But then as soon as I see Punk versus Drew, my heart and my whole entire being will be focused on that. Because what do you do? What do you do in Punk versus Drew? Again, that could be a poem as well. Like, if CM Punk wins, does Drew McIntyre have a meltdown? If Drew McIntyre wins, CM Punk gets a loss. And obviously we haven't really had a singles match with CM Punk, so he came back to WWE because he got injured so soon. Oh man, but this is the secret sauce, right? There'd be so much jeopardy there. And the other reason I think Gunther would probably become the world champion is because you want a big world title change as well. I think Nia Jax is going to become the champion as well. I think a bunch of heels could walk out with titles at that show. And of course the other heavily speculated match is LA Knight versus Logan Paul, which LA Knight would win, unless we do that in Money in the Bank. But again, it seems to be steering towards SummerSlam, especially because Logan Paul's in his hometown, so that's going to add some gravitas to that too. But yeah, I would absolutely belt, as some people say, LA Knight up. I don't think he can suffer another loss. And then again, moving into the latter six months of 2024, you want to put the things in place. You want to make him the Gunther of 2024, as much as Gunther was in 2023 for that US title, because while the Intercontinental Championship is destined to be rehabbed and the US title is in a better place, I think you need someone to really wave that flag or really make it feel like a big deal. And much in the same way as Gunther was the horrible bad guy, everyone loves LA Knight, everyone gets excited about him, so we should make him the ultimate good guy that rides into battle, gets his ass whipped, finds his second win, and gets win after win after win after win. Plan something big at WrestleMania like we did at Gunther. I mean, top of my head, I have no idea. But he should have a big challenge, and he should win that too. And we should be getting here like June 2025, and I'll be an old man, and we should be saying, isn't it wonderful that LA Knight is still the champion? But listen, there is loads to dissect there, and make sure you check out the Wrestling Observer newsletter too. I'm a subscriber, I'm a nerd, I'm a geek, I like reading it, I like listening to them. It's entertainment, man. You don't have to agree with everything that they say. And that's how I approach everything. I listen to Fightful stuff, I listen to The Fight Game, I listen to Andrew Zarian, I listen to everybody. I listen to the Laps fan. I just like listening to wrestling content because, again, I am the world's biggest geek. But let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. Please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the bell ding ding, then you know when videos are going live. Just click the video. Don't have to watch it. YouTube doesn't know. Click the video on the screen, which is me talking about some wrestling nonsense. Otherwise, if you're into fitness and lifting weights, GorillaMind.com/Simon. Use the code Simon to get 10% off everything on store. And if you keep an eye on there too, on my Instagram, my Twitter, Simon316, you will know when they're doing 20%, 30%. I vouch for these supplements. Otherwise, I wouldn't talk about them on every video. Patreon.com/Simon316, Simon316 on Instagram and Twitter, and Threads for some bizarre reason. Simon J. Miller on TikTok, Simon Miller on Cameo. Love doing personalized videos, so keep them coming. Birthday, Christmas, Hanukkah, weddings, I don't care. Otherwise, you can get my merchandise at Pro Wrestling Tees and Samson Athletics. But otherwise, just if you hate it, I support you. If you love it, I support you. Wrestling ain't that big a deal, even though it's flipping awesome. See you soon.